Hey Internet, this is Nate, and I want to do a short guide on how to beat Vampire Survivors in a speedrun in less than 3 hours. So stay buckled in. We're going to start with some kind of like general how-tos, and then we'll jump into Vampire Survivors itself and talk about how to get that started. So first off, we're going to talk about how to reset your save file. Now I have a guide on how to reset your save file, but actually there's an even easier way that I wasn't aware of at the time. If you go to Discord, and I'll link the Vampire Survivors Discord in the video description of this video, sorry. There is, one of the channels is save data downloads. You can see this here. In the save data downloads, it tells you exactly what you need to do. You need to quit Vampire Survivors, copy and paste the save data from here. This is the blank save state, so you can just download this, and then you want to copy. Inside of the zip folder is a save data folder, and you will want to take that folder, go into your Steam file. It's under your user data, this number, this second number here, and then remote. I talk about this in the other guide. And then you just replace, there's a save data file. It's exactly like this one. You just replace it here. So again, if you want to like watch me walk through that, I would start at downloads. I would grab that blank saves data here, copy it from here, go back into that section, and then just override the file. Now my save data is completely overridden. That's step one. Step two is to download Livesplit. So if you don't have Livesplit, you can find it on the internet. I'll also post a link where you can download Livesplit in the description of the video, and then just save it somewhere. I put it onto my like Windows here. You see Livesplit, and when I open up Livesplit, this is what you're going to get. At first, you're not going to have it set up like this. No, I don't want to update it. But basically here, why is it showing up twice? Oh, that's because I have it up here as well. Hold on, let me remove Livesplit there. Right-click on Livesplit. The first thing you want to do is edit your splits. So I set this run category as game complete, no cheats. I title it as Vampire Survivors as the game. It'll actually find it if you search for it. And then I've added these splits. You can call them whatever you want. But basically the splits that, and I'll go through this in a little bit, are you complete the forest, you complete the library, you complete the dairy plant, Gallo Tower, you complete the forest a second time along with Green Acres, you defeat the special boss in Moongalow, you do the same in Capella Magna, you do the Bone Zone, and then you do Eudaimonia, in that order. This is the current route that I'm taking. Maybe you can find more efficient routes, but it's the route that I'm taking. But anyway, you added all these splits, so you just continue to add segments until you have all of them there. The other thing I'd recommend you do is in your settings, you have your different numbers, and I would recommend global hotkeys. This allows you to use these keys even while you're in another window. Otherwise, you have to click on the window and then do it, which is annoying and kind of, irritating. You can also set these to other things, but I just kind of set them as what they were. And that's basically it. So then I have my segment. I can like increase the size, decrease the size, whatever I want, right? So this is completely flexible once you have it set up. And that's everything to get set up with basically the save file and with getting the timer running if you're going to speed run it. Okay, so now for the setup stuff, let's talk about the actual run itself. So when we get into Vampire Survivors, as I said, I've organized my splits, and what we're going to do here is do a couple changes. So we got it like that. There we go. So the way that I've organized my splits is we do the forest first, and the whole purpose of the very first forest is to unlock the library. So if you look in the levels, let's start at the end. In order to be able to go to Eudaimonia, you have to collect all of the different artifacts. Where is that? Right here. You have to collect all of the standard artifacts from all stages. So what are the standard artifacts? They are these. It is these three: the Forbidden Scrolls, the Yellow Sign, the Glass Vizard, Randomazzo, Sorceress Tears, Ars Gouda, Milky Way Map, Magic Banger, and Grim Grimoire. So you have to collect every one of these relics in order to unlock the final stage. So that's why the order is very important. So you start in the forest because it's the only map you can do at the beginning. And the whole goal of that first run, and why it's only around 10 minutes long in my split, is you're just trying to get to level 20. So easiest way, just take Antonio, focus on leveling. I recommend getting Magic Wand and Knife early because they have extra projectiles. And then if you don't get those two, continue to level up the whip. The other weapons, Axe and the Santa Water and Bible, are not as good as Magic Wand and Knife at the beginning, but you can take them if you don't get anything else. But the goal is to get as many projectiles as you can, kill things as fast as you can. The moment you get level 20, you exit the level, you will unlock a whole bunch of things, but unlock including the library. So second is we take the library, and here could be a diversion path, but what I did in my last run, I think this was probably faster in the end, is you do have to get to level 40. So by then, I'm typically switching over to Imelda because Imelda has the gain more experience every 5 levels. And in the library, the main goals are get the tome, get the Grim Grimoire, get the Stone Mask, and then kill the level 20 or the minute 25 boss. And the reason why is one of the levels you have to unlock is Moongallo or Moongallo. In order to unlock Moongallo, you need to have 4 wins across all the stages. And you need to unlock Moongallo first because you need the yellow sign before you can collect the Great Gospel. So rather than running Capella Magna twice, I typically will run the forest, beat all the first 4 levels, do Moongallo, and then go back to Capella Magna to do the Great Gospel. So again, you go to library, you need to get the Grim Grimoire, you want to get the Stone Mask, and you want to unlock the Dairy Plant. So that'll be a 25-minute run. That puts us to around this 39 minutes. Next, you do Dairy Plant. In the Dairy Plant, you need to collect both artifacts. That's the Milky Way map and Ars Gouda. You also need to get to level 60. That's usually not too difficult because you also want to beat the 25-minute boss, so you can continue to have hyper mode wins. So again, both artifacts, get to 25 minutes, get to level 60. And if you get to 25 minutes, you're going to get to level 60. That's almost a given. On the later maps, as you get further and further in, I typically continue to level Magic Wand and Knife because they're so powerful, but now you can start doing things like Labora and Axe, which tend to be very strong. You'll have unlocked by then Candelabrador. You'll have unlocked a Tract Orb, hopefully, by getting a Vacuum on a level. So that should make it a little bit easier to gain those levels and to survive for all of those runs. Once you complete the Dairy Plant, you go into Gallo Tower. Very similar thing. This one's a little bit tricky because you have to do a lot of movement. You have to get Sorcerer's Tears and Randomazzo in the same run. I typically recommend doing Sorcerer's Tears first because one, I find that the Bracer is not as useful as Spellbinder for a lot of the abilities you're going to get if you end up getting Bible. And that's like usually the best opportunity to get Bible and evolve it, as well as Labora. Those tend to work really, really well with Sorcerer's Tears, so I get it, or sorry, with the Spellbinder, so I get the Spellbinder first. The other reason why is that if you go up to Randomazzo, you're going to summon a whole bunch of witches that have the Lancet freeze slow thing, which is super irritating and can make it difficult to make it all the way back down afterward to get the Sorcerer's Tears. But then I go down first, get the Sorcerer's Tears, and then head up north and get Randomazzo, as well as hopefully by then Mr. Krabs appears and you can beat Mr. Krabs. Because again, we need to get all those 25-minute boss defeats, because that's what unlocks the next stage. And what unlocks, well, not unlock the next stage, but unlocks the hyper mode. Okay, so now that you've secured Sorcerer's Tears, you have Hyper and what is it called? Hyper and Hurry mode. And now for the rest of the runs, you're going to do Hurry mode every single time. You're going to go back to the forest. This is forest number 2. In forest number 2, you're going to defeat the 25-minute boss. I also recommend unlocking Pugnala, or Pungala, as I'm told he's called, or she's called. I highly recommend that because I find that they're the best character to take into the next 2 maps. But you don't have to, but I tend to because I think it's quite good. But in that, you're really just trying to get to 25 minutes and kill the 25-minute boss, and that's basically it. Once you're done with the forest, you'll want to run into Green Acres, quickly grab the magic banger. It's like 10 seconds away from where you start, so it's a super easy pickup. There are no artifacts or relics in the forest. You don't need to worry about that. So once you've done the forest a second time and completed it and done Green Acres, then you'll want to go into Moonglow. And Moonglow, you're going to unlock 2 things. One, you're going to unlock the Glass Vizard, which requires you to undo all of your power-ups. We'll talk about power-ups in a little bit. Undo all your power-ups. So you have 10,000 coins. Then you can unlock the Glass Vizard, and then you can complete the level to get the yellow sign. Again, I recommend Pugnala for this, because I find that she's quite strong going into Moonglow, and she's a pretty good character to take into the special after Moonglow sequence to get the yellow sign. So that's why I take her. But you don't have to. You could take another character and it'd probably be just fine. Once you unlock both of those, the Glass Vizard and the yellow sign, the last step for like main leveling is to unlock the Great Gospel, which you get in Capella Magna. So to unlock Capella Magna, you should have already done that when you completed Gallo Tower. And then this is going to be that weird version of Capella Magna where you have all the Reapers and things get a little like dicey. So again, this is why I also take Pugnala to get more damage, because she gets the damage per level buff, and she starts with guns, and there is a revive Tiragisu on the map, which allows you to evolve the guns. And all that tends to make not only the level easier, but the final boss at the end, the amalgamation of all of the Reapers, easier to beat. And so that's why I typically take Pugnala. I just find it a lot easier than a lot of the other characters. If you're successful and you complete Capella Magna, the only last thing you need to do is grab the very last relic, which is the Forbidden Scrolls, which you'll find in the Bone Zone from defeating the Roly-Boly. Now, to defeat the Roly Bone, I've used a special strategy in the last 2 times, and there might be a better one, but this one works pretty well. First thing you do is unlock any one of the characters that gets an extra projectile. So that would be the dog, that would be Yada Cavallo, that would be Mortaccio. Hopefully one of them is already unlocked by that time. Usually Cavallo is unlocked by that time if you did really well in the library. But yeah, so unlock Cavallo, and you unlock them literally just to unlock their weapon, because you need a second weapon. Then you unlock Porta, which you hopefully will have gotten by leveling up the lightning ring at some point during your run. And you take Porta and you take Game Killer. Game Killer will also get unlocked when you collect the Great Gospel. So this just will naturally happen. That's one of the things that happens when you beat Capella Magna after 31 minutes. So you take Game Killer, you take Porta, you go to Trouser, and you buy whatever weapon you have extra. That can be the bone, that can be the cherry bomb, whatever. And then you immediately go down and start fighting the boss up until you get to around 3 minutes. Then you run up. The reason why you leave at that point is because the Roly-Poly, he absorbs any enemies that he touches, and it increases his health pool. And when he absorbs them, they don't get any drops. So if he absorbs a chest dropping boss, you lose the chest permanently. So at 3 minutes, I walk away so that I can kill the boss, kind of away from him. Get the chest, which will give you at minimum 3 upgrades because you took Game Killer at the beginning. And then you continue fighting him until 5 minutes, and then you do the same thing. What's very important for this particular run is make sure that you're doing it in hurry mode. Not in hurry mode, because if you do it in hurry mode, it's too difficult to scale fast enough to kill the Roly-Poly before he absorbs too many bones. So don't put on hurry mode, keep it on regular mode. It's the one run you're going to do at that point that is in regular mode in order to kill the Roly-Poly and grab his Forbidden Scroll. At that point, you've unlocked Eudaimonia, and you need to do 2 quick things. The first is you jump into Eudaimonia, pick the first selection. It doesn't matter which one you pick. go into a run, select whatever got unlocked, and then start the run, quit the run, go back, do it a second time to unlock the other one. So whether you unlock endless or inverse, and then with the second one, do the same thing. Go back in, select a level, go in with that new unlocked modifier, quit the level immediately, and then you go to Eudaimonia a third time, and this time you'll fight the final boss, kill the final boss. Again, doesn't really matter who you take. I think last time I took Pagnala again, but it doesn't really matter. It's all scripted anyway. Don't die. And if you're successful and you don't die, then you'll unlock the fireworks in the credit sequence, and then you're done. So outside of speedrunning, why would you want to do this? The other main reason you might want to do this is because if you complete Eudaimonia, you get 100,000 coins at minimum, which can massively spike your power-up ability. So even if you're not going to speedrun, I highly recommend that route, just so you can get a ton of gold to help fuel your achievement hunting for the rest of the time. Okay, last thing I didn't talk about is power-ups. So early on, growth, magnet, and move speed are going to be your biggest friends, because these three help you to level and survive probably more than anything else. If you've maxed out those or you have spare cash, you can do cooldown, area, might, even some regen and armor can be quite good. Once you get over 5,000, I would recommend refund everything and get the extra projectile, which tends to be really, really strong early on where you're the weakest. But still, again, focusing on get the projectile, but then get growth, magnet, move speed. And then again, just kind of go through cooldown, probably the next best one, area, might, speed. The one thing to do with luck that's pretty important is specifically later on in your runs. I would say like Capella Magna, the final boss sequence, and probably even fighting the roly-poly in the bone zone. You'll want more luck because they'll give you better chests. And those ones you really want to get better chests early to help you survive and complete your objective. But outside of that, actually no, I said the final boss, but actually the final boss you don't need luck. It's really just the bone zone, probably Capella Magna and Moongalow are the ones where you really want to have a lot of luck. Greed I wouldn't worry about. I find that you don't really need tons of power-ups to do this challenge. You can do greed, but I would just almost always prefer to just get more growth, more magnet, cooldown, or something like that instead. And that's basically it. So that's in a nutshell, and by nutshell I mean like an 18-minute nutshell, what I do to do the 3-hour Vampire Survivors challenge. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, come join us live. We stream, I stream every night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, ish. Sometimes a little bit later, sometimes a little earlier, but around 7 p.m. Standard Time. And check out the other videos. I will see you next time. See you later.